Two characteristics for biblical leadership 101. I am so glad that you're here and that you decided to take this course. Now we're a little bit of a diverse group. We have some that are already in ministry, and we have those that want to be in ministry, but I can guarantee you that this course will reach everyone, because I believe everyone in this room is a leader. Think about it. We're leaders in our homes, we're leaders in our work, leaders at school, and if you think about it, our entire country and everything we do, we're all influenced by leaders. Take, for an example, our government. Or what about schools? We have school boards, right? What about churches? We have church boards and elder boards. We're all influenced by leaders. And I don't know if you think like I do, but I've thought to myself several times, do I have all the characteristics that a leader should possess? And what exactly are those characteristics? I think we can probably name quite a few. For an example, I might need someone that's trustworthy. What are some that you think of? If you were to define a leader or mention a character, what are some traits that you think of? Honest.
Really honest.
Able to motivate.
Able to motivate. Motivator. Anything else? Integrity.
Humble.
Loving.
Loving.
Danielle's on a roll.
Honest.
Visionary.
Good. These are all great, and the Bible has a lot to say about different characteristics for leadership. And so over the next 6 weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into different Bible passages, and we're going to go ahead and look at different things that they have to say about leaders. For tonight, though, for our first session, we're going to go ahead and focus on 1 Peter 5, 1 through 7. And so we're going to go ahead and read this. Does somebody want to go ahead and read 1 Peter 5, 1 through 7 for me? Thank you.
To the leaders among you, I appeal as a fellow elder, a witness of Christ's sufferings, and one who also will share the glory to be revealed. Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, serving as overseers, not because you must, but because you are willing, as God wants you to be. Not greedy for money, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. When the chief shepherd appears, you will receive a crown of glory that will never fade. Young men, in the same way, be submissive to those who are older. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility towards one another, because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, and He may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you.
Thank you, Sophia. So this passage, you can see, is very rich. It's chock full of a lot of information and a lot of really good traits. But we're going to focus on 3 of them, at least for tonight's session. And so if you have the handout that I gave you, you'll go ahead and see I have some blanks. And so for your first blank, you're going to see that the first characteristic is to be someone who is willing to be a leader. So have any of you ever had to sign up for something simply because no one else would? Now, how many of you are already leaders in the church to some degree or another? Okay, great. So Olivia, what do you do?
I'm a youth pastor.
Olivia's the youth pastor. So Olivia, how would you feel if Wednesday or after your midweek service, your pastor came up to you afterwards and said, Olivia, Sunday, you're going to start leading our senior group. Thank you so much. Have a good day. So the elders at this time, that's how they were chosen to be over the church they were in. They were not asked. They did not volunteer. They were told that they were going to be the leader or the elder of that church. And so Peter is taking the time out to say that in order to be the leader, one must willingly accept and willingly become the role that they are called to do. And so if we truly believe that God wants whatever His will, if that's what we want for our life, then we have to joyfully, we have to enthusiastically, and we have to wholeheartedly lead people. Otherwise, we're going to get nowhere. And so there needs to be an attitude check that takes place. Now, a second characteristic is someone who serves. How can you tell that someone is a servant? They're selfless. So what does that mean to be selfless?
Think of others first.
Think of others first. Humble. Anything else? Hardworking. Good. So here in this passage, what's going on is a servant who is someone who gets the job done regardless of pay and regardless of the perks that come with the job. And those are all great, right? We all know pay is great. But that is not the decision maker. That's not the final factor. That's just something that comes along with it. And so, of course, our biggest example is Jesus. He's the ultimate servant, correct? He washes his disciples' feet. He lays down his own life and is killed for the sake of others. He gives endlessly of his time, of his energy, of his guidance, and his prayers, and his passion for the people around him. And so serving is putting others' needs in front of yours. It's spending time with those who are sick in the hospital. It's bringing food to someone who is in need. So in order to be a servant, there is a heart check that needs to take place. And then the third characteristic is someone who sets an example. So during the time of this passage, the church was going through hard times. They were being isolated from the community around them. They were being made fun of, and they were being verbally abused, sometimes maybe even physically hurt or abused as well. And the culture around them was violent. And as believers, we are always being watched. We're being watched by other believers. We're being watched by other leaders. We're being watched by those who want to be leaders and are looking at us for that. And most importantly, we're being watched by unbelievers. And so in a time where character was tested the most for these churches, the elders in this passage were reminded to set an example. As leaders in the making, we are to remember that our actions and our words will tell everyone everything that they ever need to know about us. And just as we are to mirror Jesus' leadership, we are also to mirror him to the point where we encourage people to mirror us, because they see so much of Jesus inside of us. And so there is an inward check that needs to take place. A leader will self-evaluate, and they'll make sure that through good or bad, just like at the time of this church, through persecution, through being made fun of, by being hurt verbally, or anything that was going on, that they're setting an example. And so what I want to do for the last bit of this session that we have today is hear from you. Who do you know that possesses all three of these traits? Someone who you can tell that they actually want to lead, they're willing. Someone who is a servant at heart, they're serving. And someone who lives their life with a mission to be an example for others. So who do you know that actually has all three of these qualities, and are they more effective of a leader by having these qualities? Does anybody know anybody that has these traits? Cal?
Yes, I'd have to say probably my boss, Ray Allen, is pretty much, if that was one person you can model your leadership after, it'd probably be him.
So what about him? How can you tell that he wants to be a leader, and that in what ways does he serve?
He'll do anything for you, even like titles don't matter. He would rather go out of his way to help someone, like help a student in need, rather than like look at his own schedule. So very like sacrificial and humble and helpful.
Good. And you feel like he's more effective as a leader,
Yes.
and respected as a leader because of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? Maybe your work, and your family, your church? Sure.
Some people in this room know them, but Stephanie Garrison, she works here. I mean, I think that she basically is that, everything you said. So, and you like having a servant's heart, like she'll go out of her way to do anything for anybody, but like people respect her at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What about? Go ahead.
My mom is, she doesn't necessarily like to lead, but she's always willing, you know, and she's just, like if I could grow up and be exactly like my mother, I would be completely fine with it. She like is the epitome of all of these things.
And is she an effective leader in her home, with
Yes.
her family?
Yeah, she's a really, really good wife and mother.
What about the opposite? Someone that doesn't have these traits, and how does that portray them as a leader, or viewed as a leader? You don't have to give names, of course, on this one. Examples?
Sometimes people want the salary, they want the title, expect people to serve them, and they build a lot of resentment.
You can tell the difference when someone's in it for what they can get out of it or versus building that community with it. My boss is an example of someone who serves. I actually just got this new boss around the end of September and October, and I immediately knew that I would love her so much because she is a great big ball of energy and love for everyone that she supervises under. I can go to her for everything, anything that I want, and she never judges me. You can tell that she's here for us because, like Kel said, she drops everything that she has. If I ever say, hey, do you have a second? It can be a moment where I know it's like time of year where we're doing planning and business, and she will drop everything she has to let me talk to her, even for something that is probably really silly and stupid. But she is viewed and loved among everybody. Her leadership is respected and viewed among everybody because we can tell that she's in it for the people and not for the paycheck per se or to get promoted or anything like that. So definitely with leadership with that. So I just wanted to close by going over some of the different things that leaders have. And next week, we're going to go ahead and look at other passages in the Bible and look at different traits that leaders will have in different books like Timothy and Titus and so forth.
Tiffany.